Dianne Feinstein recently passed away, and while I believe she'll sadly be remembered as someone who stayed in Congress too long, I believe she also left behind a legacy much deeper than that and much more memorable that we should be pointing to. She was the first female mayor of California to make it to Congress, to the Senate, championed gun issues, female productive rights issues, helped pass Obamacare, was always on the right side of economical and environmental issues, and she just did many things that were right and good for the American people. However, I do understand how this brings forth the recognition of a need for term limits in Congress, though I do think this is a discussion that can and should be had without tarnishing the legacy that politicians have left behind, like Dianne and all the things that she did for our country. Luckily for us, we do have a Democratic governor in California, in Gavin Newsom, who will elect the replacement, of whom we'll discuss briefly at the end. But it is to be noted the different position we would be in if it was a Republican governor in the already fragilely split Senate, if there was going to be a Republican placed in this seat rather than Dianne Feinstein. And that's why it calls into question how long someone should be able to serve in Congress, if there should be age limits, or if not age limits, health limitations, if the two things should go hand in hand, if there should be mental competency. These are questions we hear more and more now in this day and age, as nobody likes the feel of gerontocracy that we kind of get with everyone in Congress being at or around the age of 80, or at least the majority of them being so. And a lot of questions are, outside of that, is once this happens, now that she has passed, unfortunately, should seats, if people pass or resign or whatever, or removed for whatever reason, should they be reserved for someone in the same party rather than just leaving it up to circumstance of who the governor is at the time? Or should there be an election? Or how should these things be held? Or is it just best placed in the responsibility of the governor, and then the people can elect the governor knowing that he will have that responsibility if it ever comes to it? This is a tricky question, and it is admittedly one that's hard to answer, but I do think first and foremost the solution is term limits, if not in total consecutively, making people take that break from Congress, and then if after the 4 years off, if they're like, okay, I can come back, let them, but I think that maybe, I'm not sure the last time Dianne was up for election. I kind of get confused with the House, and I know the Senate runs for 4 years. So is it the same with the president? If it was 2020, if in 2020 we had made her stop, would she have even wanted to run again in 2024? Or even back further, if in 2016 we had made her stop with that 4 years off and her age being like 70, 80, however old she was, would she have wanted to come back realizing like, oh, like I've had downtime, like I'm fine? Like when you're in the flow and you have what feels like an obligation to serve people, because people who do who are public servants have that. They have that obligation in them to want to help people, right? And when you have that obligation of like, I have to step down, rather than like somebody's going to make you step down, even when it's in your best intentions, you might go against that. And that's why I think that consecutively, like banning consecutive term limits, like, okay, like if you serve 8 years, 12 years, whatever you want to go with, you need to take 4 years off. Like you have to not serve for one term, and then you can come back, even if maybe it's just for the older people, or however you want to let it shake. You have to hold a different seat. You have to be like something like that, to where the Dianne Feinstein, the Mitch McConnells of the world, it doesn't come to be such a problem. And now Mitch McConnell is trying to rewrite things to where he can choose his replacement and all of this. And I think this would be done away with if we had term limits, maybe even age limits, health limitations that didn't let us get to this point. And I think that when it comes to talking about replacements, only one name makes sense, and that's Barbara Lee. Newsom said that he would appoint a woman of color. And this is a progressive Democrat who is a woman of color with the experience that has also put in the work. And while I would like to see someone younger, she is also, I think, 76 or 77, I think she at least makes sense until election time. She pushes the needle in the way that we want to see. She fits the bill for who Newsom said he would put in the position. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what you think of term limits, how long should people be able to serve in Congress, if there should be any at all, or if there should be additional limitations like age, health, competency, or things that should be installed to prevent this from happening in the future. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by the economy, society, and politics. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video, because the only way we become a society is together.